Welcome to Planet Pluto.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Damn, I can't even say tango because I'm let me clear my throat. I hope you don't mind. Let me clear my throat.
Yeah, it's a clear throat moment.
Me. What up, good people? How y'all doing out there? It's me, your homegirl Adosha Wright, aka Pissed Off Lolo. Pissed Off Lolo. All right. Right here. Where's she at? With my finger. Let me get it right. There she is, right here. Cheryl Morrow, the one, the only hair oracle, coming to you live and direct from planet Pluto Pseudo. And this is a special edition. I wish I had one of those. Hello, welcome to Planet Pluto Pseudo. This is Kilolo. Yeah, this is a serious situation. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Excuse me. My throat's just a little drier, but yes, come on in. I think this would have been the show that Dr. Spritz was supposed to come on, but given what happened today in Texas, we had a change of plans. So tonight we are going. What's up, BFF? We are going to be addressing the situation. Let me see if I can. I think I did make us a little thumbnail here for this gentleman here. Better yet, we ain't even got to go through all that. We could just go online and we can look up what we are going to be talking about tonight. So in case some of you are not aware about the judge in Texas, about the young man's hair. I got to get his name. I don't want to say his name incorrectly. I think his name is Daryl, correct? Yeah, Daryl George. Okay. So here it is. Yes, I found it. Excuse me. Yeah. So tonight we are going to be going into great detail. Our opinions, of course, which are like cell phones, about the ruling that came out later this afternoon or mid-afternoon here in Cleveland, that the judge in Texas ruled that the Barber Hills High School did not violate the Crown Act in requesting this young man to remove those locks. And so we're about to go there. We're about to go there. So this is how it's going down. So let me just kind of hold up, Cheryl. I'm going to put up the little image so people can see like what y'all got going on here. Okay, here we go. Present. I don't know. I think my internet is acting kind of whirly. Let me try it again. Okay, there it is. All right, share screen. Here he is, right here, Cheryl. Here we go. There it is. Can you see it?
Yep.
So here it is. Daryl George, Texas judge rules the school district can restrict the length of male students' natural hair. I gotta read it again. Daryl George, Texas judge rules school can restrict the length of male students' natural hair. I'm going to stop sharing. I have no words. Um,
Now,
now, now, while you're thinking of that, I'm just want to say this because this was kind of, I'm sure some of our people are like, well, what happened to the other link? I really do have to clear my throat for real. Um, Charlotte and I made a executive decision that we needed to go live with this and really put out a serious opinion dialogue that can stay or as long as YouTube will have it up. I'm going to download it and save it for our own stuff show because you never know. They might get rid of YouTube one day, but we need to have it so that our conversation can be taken into, groups, cosmetology schools, barber schools, law offices, you name it. Okay. So this is a very special live because Cheryl and I, we are very serious. My BFF Monica hopped in the chat. As a matter of fact, Monica was the one who sent it to me this afternoon. And Monica, that's why I'm just gonna kiss your toes when I see you, because she knew I was at work, and she knew that I was gonna be upset, and I was just like effing pissed. Okay, and so here on Planet Pluto Pseudo, this is the actual podcast platform that Cheryl and I created, particularly for licensed professionals, your barbers, cosmetologists, natural hairstylists, and hair aficionados. So people who just love hair. Then Planet Pluto Pseudo is where you come to, you land your mothership, you get off if you want to, put your helmet on so that the oxygen, you ain't no oxygen on Planet Pluto Pseudo, right? Because it's all fake, right? And so what we're going to do here is tell the truth according to proof. That's what we do here. And so tonight, we're going to have a very candid and open discussion with whoever comes in the chat. And Cheryl and I will have the dialogue with each other. And I'm just going to be picking your brain and just really going at this in a very professional but real kilo low hair oracle fashion. So come on in the chat and sit down and get your water, your Kool-Aid, and bowl of cereal.
baby.
You might need some wine because today I accidentally drank some vodka straight. That's a whole nother story. I thought it was water. It turned out to be. I was like, uh-oh. Anywho, yeah.
Yeah.
So Cheryl, we're gonna hop on into it. What you say? What you say? What you say?
What I say is what I says. What I says. What I says. I am as you would say, it's a sad day because what I knew that my state, with all of the wonderful intentions of all of the legislators, with all of the other surrounding cohorts involved with the Crown Act.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mixed bag for me when our governor, which is the first governor to do so, um, signed it. And because of the knowledge that, that you use and I use, in our
Mm-hmm.
professions, I just did not like it. I didn't like the language. I did not think that it was well thought out. I think that they wanted to, and I'm a professional,
Mm-hmm.
the best at what I do, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, they are the best at what they do, or whatever their intentions were in just getting. And it's not that it wasn't a subject that didn't need to be legislated. I'm not saying that, but when you are not experienced enough in the arts and sciences, in the social, in the psychosocial, in cultural social, in the
Mm-hmm.
economic world of Black hair care, you just miss things, and I just wish that they would have invited the cosmetology industry, and because we have more than just style capabilities.
No, no, not us.
Yeah,
Not us cosmetics. I mean,
not not
clearly,
not,
child.
not us professors, right?
No, 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 no,
You
no, 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 no.
know, going
They
to
could not consider us.
no, and just thinking that going to African American study professors, and then just going to maybe, and let me just say this: I don't know if you guys ever really read the Wikipedia of what a protective hairstyle, because there's a Wikipedia,
Ah,
okay, and
mm.
the Wikipedia surmises what a protective hairstyle, and in that protective hairstyle, and of course, protective hairstyle is not a word that belongs to the 19th or 20th century. That is a 21st century word. It belongs to natural hair care movement.
Dumb word. I'm sorry. I'm
Right, right.
being mean. I'm gonna be very mean. I just wanna like I'm
No,
gonna
no,
be in real key Lolo fashion. I'm just telling y'all right now. I'm just gonna be very pure, clear, and unadulterated. So
and that was the basis of the bill. And when you look at the Wikipedia, and you're reading it, and right at the bottom, their references are exactly why the bill will
never,
never get case law. It will
never.
never win a case. They will.
Remember this? No, I never, ever, ever in my long-legged life, long-legged lady with a long. It ain't never. Now, um, why?
And
Keep going, keep going.
well,
I'm
eh,
still inviting people in the chat. I'm listening because
yeah.
I want to know why you say never. But
Well, after you hear one of the lead attorneys on Mr. George's case, um, the judge, the magistrate, the judge
the
went
judge, the real judge,
right, went strictly by the law. You know, and so in other words, the Crown Act is the reason why they lost.
but of course. So I do now. Can I play the clip just so we can have some context to what the judge said?
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to play the clip, and again, drop your comments in the chat. Do you agree? Do you disagree about the judge ruling? It actually in favor of the school system in Texas. That's the Barber Hills High School in Texas. That they did not violate the Crown Act when they asked the young man, cut him. Gotta go. They gotta go. So let us know what are your thoughts about that. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna let's see which one is it here. The Crown Acts Judge. No, it's this one over here. So I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna move it to the 2 minute mark. Okay. So here we go, and then we're gonna take it from there. Here. Mm, yes, this one. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Show. I'm just gonna kind of scroll it to
Yeah,
that two
absolutely.
minute. Okay. I was towards the end, huh? Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, we'll have a full report on today's court proceedings on fox26houston.com and on our news at 5.
Oh, well, huh.
Earn to participate in extracurricular activities, to be with his peers, to enjoy the best years of his life. And unfortunately, Barbara's Hill denied him of that right.
Oh, we'll have a full report on today's court proceedings on fox26houston.com and on our news at 5.
All right. I think this is the one. There we go. Right. There we go. Right here. Sure. Here we go.
There's nothing on the screen.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop.
Okay.
All right, I got it. Let me just take it back just a little bit here. All right, I think I got it. Here we go. Just waiting for my computer. A little share screen. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
All right.
At least at this very early stage, are following what's been happening. The judge attempted, at least as elicited by the opinion, to rule by the letter of the law. And sometimes what you have when legislatures pass laws with good intentions are specifics that should be there, sometimes simply are not. And I think here it was inferred that by virtue of the fact that someone may have a protective hairstyle, such as wearing dreadlocks or what have you, that length, of course, would be a part of that hairstyle, and that a length that potentially goes beyond the length of the eyebrows or below the chin, even for a male student having said dreadlocks, it would be inferred. But to the extent that it was not explicitly written in the law, I think that's why we're having a bit of the decision that we just had today.
So what happens now?
So I think at this point, the family's going to have to explore its options. I mean, as we know, the student has not been in school since this past August, wherein he's essentially just been sitting out from at least a constitutional perspective, sitting out of school trying to assert said rights under the Constitution and under the law. I think at this point, probably what we'll expect is that the family will appeal the decision. We'll probably see concurrent litigation both in the state and the federal courts as the student ultimately just tries to move forward in pressing what he's asserting is his constitutional right to wear his hair as he so chooses.
Because as you mentioned,
All right,
as you
we're
mentioned,
gonna
the bill does not
pause it.
specifically address.
You're pausing it.
All right, so there you have it, Cheryl, from the reporter's mouth. He basically said, I don't know if this is good or not. Did he say that the Crown Act itself was not, basically they didn't write it properly?
Well, one of the things that they focused on, and this is indicative of the lack of a scholar, the lack of awareness, the lack of experience, the lack of historical context, just the lack of just a historical reference. This is where the natural hair care movement made the mistake, because it was the natural hair movement of the year 2000, the Y2K as I call it. This is what they created in terms of style. They're sticking to the cultural significance, and that's all they're dealing with. They did not foresee dress code. That it's only workplace and dress code. I think they wrote it for the workplace. I don't know if they wrote it for dress codes, because the Supreme Court, as it protects private entity and private schools and other public workplaces. They protect dress codes. They have the right to have a dress code. However, it is not about the length of his hair strand. It is, can the young man, due to specific texture and biological differences for Black people in terms of how they fashion. Fashion is akin to style. If style cosmetically meets the length requirements, right? And you have to put that in the bill, because males, Black males, do not lock their hair, twist their hair, plait their hair, braid their hair, because they are protecting it from the elements. That's not why black males, that's not why men do it. Men are culturally and First Amendment expressing themselves by their choice of how they fashion their hair. Period. Now, maybe black women are doing that, but the colloquial hair protective should not be the basis of the law or the bill. Does that
Right. Yeah, right. So, like, our state representative Juanita Brent here in Ohio, I forget the other gentleman's name. I think it was Calendar, Representative Calendar and Representative Brent. They introduced the Crown Act. And as a cosmetologist, I went along to support them, but with additional information, because we actually did the lobbying, like where you go to each representative's office and sit down and talk. My brother was there. I wish Mr. Abdullah was in the chat. I mean, hey, y'all don't understand, okay? This is some serious work. Now, so we actually did the physical lobbying, going up and down the elevators, right, to the offices. And I was really trying to give them some additional context of why, the Crown Act would be important. But I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, nor a lawmaker, but not realizing that, what was missing from the Crown Act itself. But I knew the Crown Act was definitely not going to be able to be enforceable. I figured some states would pass it, but I said, I don't know. And just on just a very surface level, two things just jumped out to me was the whole protective hairstyle thing. And I'm like, now y'all know, excuse me, I don't mean to offend, but I say it, Cheryl. Y'all know, white folk, and that's not gonna work. It's not going to work because the whole mutable, immutable, like, what were they thinking with that? Your hair does not grow out of your scalp naturally as a braid, a lock, a twist, or a coil. And this is where I know cosmetologists would have been able to say that to an attorney. I know the natural hair mavens and shamans, and I know all them people.
Yeah,
they hearts, they had that look. They was, Queen Nzinga, and Shaka Zulu, and Brother Nasir, and I get it, but your hair don't grow. So that was the one thing that stuck out. And then more importantly, how in the French toast and bologna sandwich is hair a civil right? What y'all do? It's human. Now, on those two notes alone, a cosmetologist would have been able to help those attorneys. Now, another thing, when the NAACP brought, I wish I had the paper, but it's upstairs. They brought the young lady here who was helping. It's a whole documentary right here on her on YouTube, who crafted the Crown Act. I stood up. And again, my boss, Lavina, was with me, and I told them exactly what we're saying tonight. Them folks looking at me like, girl, you don't go somewhere and sit your little happy ass down. I said, listen here, guys, we don't have it the right way. I think the effort has been there. I try to talk about your dad, Dr. Willie Morrow. It had already been done. The United States, and my brother, when we saw Dr. Beth Bailey's presentation about your dad, I'm like, y'all need to go and get Dr. Beth Bailey. Y'all got the wrong people. Mm-hmm. So help us understand where.
And let me just say this.
Why did they pick civil? Why did they pick civil?
Well, because I think that they believe that it's not the fact that they picked civil. They just think that violating the choice of hairstyle that's indicative to African culture is a civil violation.
But that ain't African culture. Like, all Africans don't do that. Again, cosmetologists would have been able to say you're stereotyping.
Let me just say this also. This is also because we don't do think tanks. We don't do think tanks. And from the political office and the collegiate classroom, they think that they can solve all Black people's problems.
And what problems do Black people have?
Well, one, they can't legislate out of a paper bag in terms of or litigate out of a paper bag this one hair thing that has been solved. And I think that there's and let me just say this. We and this is what think tanks allows us to do. We put the cultural aspect over here. We compartmentalize. Then we can put the civility and civil liberties over here.
Mm-hmm.
And we can put the cosmetic fashioning and styling and that over there. Then we can put the history of how we have interacted with the First Amendment, and we can just put all that stuff there, right?
Right.
But I remember a case here in San Diego that he was a media specialist inside of hotels, and he was employed. This was a workplace Crown Act issue, and at that point, because I had access, right?
Right.
I had access to the attorney, right? And so we had a think tank and the ability to have time to see and to talk to each other, to be able to help him craft a way of being able to litigate his client based on language and the use of words and how to present it in a way. Because once I made the reporters, and it was one European lady there, and I remember she had very long bangs, and they were kind of like in her eye, right? And her hair was wet. And so I said to her, and she was asking questions at the press conference, right? And she says, well, why couldn't you just do this and you do this? I says, well, ma'am, let me ask you a question. What if I told you I didn't like your bangs? And because I can't see your eyes and it's just distracting to me, in the morning, come back with your hair back. And if you said to me, well, that's not how my hair naturally grows. It grows forward. And then I said to her, but I want it off your eyes, and I want to see your eyes in the morning. Now, one thing happens. Let's just say if I had a length, if she cosmetically meets my demand, right?
Right.
Should have the right, okay, and the opportunity to meet my demands, right? Keep her job, stay in school, and everything's copacetic. But if I take away her means and I tell her how to meet my demand, that is one other argument, because he met above the eyes, above the ear,
yeah,
and off the collar. Now, they do not like that because they know that because he's worn it down, right?
Right.
They know the actual genetic strand is long. Right. But that is not the argument. The argument is when you put in your dress code the hair should not extend.
Mhm.
Well, extend is not length. You didn't put it in there. So our own Crown Act gave us the loss.
Right. Yes, real petty Franklin, real petty. But
Because
what's not petty is all these wonderful people who are in the chat. A couple of shout outs. And tonight we are talking about the Texas judge who ruled that the Barbers Hill School in Texas did not violate Daryl, I think it's Daryl George's right to, his hair, the Crown Act.
well,
So they said
better, his suspension was not unlawful.
Yeah, his suspension was not unlawful. He, the hair got to go. You got to either wear it, he's got to cut it off and find a new school. So what's up? We got my brother is in the house, Sherian Arnisa. What's happening? Ephraim is in the chat. Ephraim was with me. This is who I was talking about. He and I, and here's my brother. We went to lobby for the Crown Act. We have the wonderful, illustrious Mr. Larry Gardner is in the chat. What's happening? Oh, I just see it. Look who in the chat. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
it's a senator. Oh my God. Look at that, guys. We have now this is truly the illustrious, the one and only, our loyal
Shirley,
Ohio former state senator Shirley Smith is also in the chat. We got Monica from ATL. We got my cousin. What's up, Nene Boo Boo? Thanks for coming on, supporting out. And then we have Rashida from ATL is also in the chat. So welcome, guys. We appreciate you all so much for joining us. As you know, this is very, very, very dear to our heart. And we're just trying to give you guys something to munch on and think about of why we felt before it even got to this point. And if you have been rocking with Cheryl and I, then you already know we kept telling y'all that shit ain't gonna work. We told you guys but admittedly, we felt we got to stand behind them and give them the support because of the massive groundswell. But it was with the intent to also put in the conversation that we're having now. But though that, the people that I've had some conversation with about the Crown Act, they really weren't trying to hear it from me. And so this is why we're saying, we have got to get together and have those think tanks and have different conversations, because to me, the emotional part of us just white people doing this, white people doing that, it's not going to get us anywhere, because legally they just don't have to like it, y'all. Like I don't have to like, a person who looks a certain way or smell a certain way. I mean, this is America. And like I said, intuitively, when I first read the Crown Act and I said, civil, shouldn't they do human? I mean, hair is not a thing, because think about all of the religions who get to wear their regalia, and, they don't mess because that's under what? The First Amendment. And so when you try to do civil, I just thought that was and then you have all of the other, if you just look up all the other people who've tried to fight the government in their local, jurisdictions about their hair, from Indians to hippies, they lost. They lost because they were just like, the schools have a right, the jobs, employers have a right to say, I don't want a lady with orange and yellow hair, representing my company. You have to think about that too. People are like, well, then they just gonna have to find another employer. They're like, bye, Felicia. I don't want you standing up here, welcoming people into my hotel anyway. I mean, here's what Shirley has to say. We just don't want too much on anything. We want to amend the bill. Are you ready to take another trip to Columbus? Why y'all? Why me?
No,
Listen.
no. Let me just, well, we had talked about it. And I do think that, a couple of wonderful European fellows said, you want to write a better bill?
That is true. Mr. Abdullah, he was there. We're not
No,
making this up.
they,
We
they,
tried to tell y'all. We tried here in Woodlawn, Ohio. Mr. Abdullah was sitting in the room, and we let me just calm down. We tried, y'all. We tried to tell him this. Y'all got it all wrong.
And it's just really, convoluted. But you can write another bill to be able to do what HR needs to know, which principals and counselors need to know.
And judges, keep going, and judges and doctors. I mean, hiring people, marriage counselors, therapists, adoption agencies, foster care agents. This is, let me just calm down. I'm sorry.
And to just make sure that this time, thank you, California. Thank you, Miss Mitchell. Thank you, Senator Mitchell. Thank you, all the people in Sacramento. Thank you. But the moment you know that it just doesn't have enough teeth, it doesn't really address dress codes. It doesn't really address the Constitution. And like I just posted tonight, we want protection of rights over style, protection over cultural choice. We want the rights over style choice. Forget all that, because it can be argued. And what the attorney said in your last reel there was that we thought it was inferred, because locks are worn in certain lengths, but at the end of the day,
they don't know.
Right. And so you have to tell them that no, and I understand that, white male Americans, right? European with straight hair, most times they opt out, right? For cutting, trimming, and really taking and really cutting the biological material and reshaping it to meet the requirement. But you should also have a cosmetic option to satisfy the requirements. And so that is what the bill has to be about, because just like I told the reporter, if you meet my requirements and I can see your eyes, I'm fine. I'm not telling you to go home and rearrange your biological anatomy, which is your hair is part of your anatomy, because at the end of the day, I don't care what your hair, how it's worn after you get off work.
Right.
And I know you're going to be off work longer than you're going to be at work. So I can't dictate how you go in the weekend. And
it's just foolish to tell him, to cut his hair he's only in school for 8 hours. And if he plays sports, maybe additional 1 or 2, if that long. And so when he goes home, it's like, I just wish. Mr. Abdullah is in the chat saying we have got to get involved. So here is what we have done here in Ohio to get involved. Okay. This right here. All right. Ohio State Representative and cosmetologist, we introduced, it's not passed, it's work in progress. The nation's first textured hair, let me grab my mic, science bill. Okay. Now we ain't gonna go on and on and on about the whole situation between, the state representative and I. But what we want to show you guys, if you are watching from another state, this is an example of one of many steps of what it is going to take to help America deal with what Cheryl has identified as Afrophobia. You need science. And no better person can explain how science is one of many. It's not the answer. So I know y'all gonna be like, that bill ain't gonna pass. We're gonna try, and we hope you guys will get involved to help this man get this bill passed. Okay, because we just what they call this process, Cheryl. It's just it's an intro. You know, you put it in. Now he's got to go and present. All right. So we did the first step. All right, Cheryl. Why is science important to this situation with this crowner? And I do have the clip of Beth Bailey that I want to play, but go ahead.
Yes. Well, just quickly, so you can get to the real. It's important because it invites different facets and aspects of a beauty conversation. So when you stick artistically, it sticks to style, and then you go home. And it's this style and that style and this style, that style, now style. Well, this color. Science talks about lifestyle. Science talks about historical context. Science talks about anatomy, chemistry, talks about economics. It's fuller. And so you get a complete picture. And it also goes back into history of how our definitions and why I came up with Afrophobia, because we have been into the labor force at so many aspects within the 400 years in the 1619 until present day. And so there's so many nuances. And this is the basis of where the law has kept us in terms of restricting our movements, our choices, our civil liberties, and things of that nature. And so all of that has to fit in there. And that's what science does.
And this is why we introduced the textured hair science bill. Okay. But Monica is in the chat, and Cheryl's going to show you what you guys can do. Remember, we can't just keep having individual, right, responsibility. Self-esteem. We've got to have collective. So right now, Cheryl, show them how to collectively have self-esteem to like our YouTube channel. And all you have to do, Sean, right quick, Cheryl, right quick. Boop.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
All right. So all you got to do right now, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're on Facebook and LinkedIn, you have the option to hit a thumbs up or a heart button. If you want to hit the thumbs down, it's okay, because we know we got some haters up in here. This is a very, very challenging topic. But what I want to do right quick, we do have a question that's coming from Happy, where'd she go? Where she's at? Oh, I think I put her. Okay, here she goes. She wants to know what happened to the young man that was wrestling, and the referee would not let him wrestle unless he cut off his locks, and that did break her heart. They cut him off. That's what happened to his locks. They cut him off right there on the mat. Did you see that? Remember that one, Cheryl?
Right. So here's the thing. Now, let's just say we already know that black hair and how it usually grows, right? So these young men, I'm sure, have had locks when they either got admitted, when they got into the wrestling program, they went to practice. I'm sure that coach and everybody have seen them. There's another case where the coach is talking to the guy, and the guy is recording him, and the coach said, "I just don't like him. I just don't like him." And at the end of the day, we have to be able to prepare arguments that deal with, is this your personal prejudice, which is the civil, which is the violation, what called hair discrimination. Mm-hmm. That is where the violation is. However, when you fight it, you must be able to have different arguments ready, locked and loaded, to be able to talk about, and especially when you're going against dress codes.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court has really defined to the point where they are gonna side with the labor force and owners and businesses and schools.
They just are. They have. That's why I said
because they have the right to have a dress code.
They do. And I said, why y'all ain't reading the other laws? Like, come on, guys. We got to come a little bit stronger. Eileen, our sister from South Carolina, wrote a wonderful comment that's pretty much reiterating what you just said about how confusing this is. You must understand what the problem is because there are so many. You see what she says? So many factors to consider. The Crown Act must be clearly defined in terms of color, texture, style, and the list goes on and on and on. And that Cheryl is correct. And like we said, what we are doing here in Ohio is one of many steps. This is not one person, one group of people does not have the answers, but we do have to get together and we have to do this in a think tank. The attorneys, they needed to really talk with cosmetologists who are not just technicians behind the chair. There are many, many levels to what we are doing. I know for myself, I'm not that type of a cosmetologist, yet I have my license, but I know I would have been able to give them something different, to think about. And like I said, I have been out there. And Cheryl has been with me. She has given me language, equipped me with better conversations to have because she can't always be there because I'd be like this. What to say next? What you say? Say it again. Text it to me. And like I said, Ephraim, he's been right. Oh my God, Mr. Abdullah, no words to thank you. For writing down the NAACP, we got on the bus and all this, and it looks really like, all that stuff. But I'm telling y'all, it was some serious, serious hard work. We cannot do this by ourselves. We need you guys' support. So when you see that bill come through in Ohio, we need y'all to really come on down or post and share and do what you need to do because this is no joke. But sure, you made a comment earlier today that this had already been done. So I've got to show the clip about your dad from Professor Beth Bailey, just to kind of take us back. Absolutely. And then right quick, we're going to come back forward. And again, welcome to Planet Pluto Pseudo. Tonight, we are discussing the Texas judge's decision about the locks on Daryl George's head. And he pretty much said the school did not violate the Crown Act. Bro, got to cut the hair. You know what I'm saying? So here is what a little clip about Cheryl's dad. Here we go.
Leaders recognized that PX stock was aimed primarily at white soldiers and their families, and that many Black soldiers and their families felt ignored. They felt like they were not being treated as full members in the Army. The shelves on PXs were filled with shampoos that promised to bring out the natural highlights and the softness of hair. That wasn't welcoming. So they solved the problem that was within their sphere. The first thing they did was to identify a, quote, urgent requirement to improve haircutting for Black customers, afros. They located a Black barber from San Francisco who had written about styling Black hair, and they sent him traveling around U.S. military installations, Army installations all over the world. He spent 3 weeks in Germany and England, where he taught 750 barbers and 300 beauticians. And then he did a 40-day whirlwind tour of Alaska, Hawaii, and Southeast Asia. He taught barbers how to cut Black hair. This is him teaching barbers in Tokyo. I gave this a version of this talk in Tokyo in January, and had a lot of requests for copies of this photograph. Afros, they're sort of modified, but at least they were teaching the proper tools and techniques, and they were guaranteeing that they wouldn't be charged more for afros than white soldiers were charged for regulation haircuts. It wasn't going to be a specialty.
All right. Every time I watch that, I just get freaking goosebumps. Now, my brother told me, I did not know this, when I discovered this woman's research, I just was like, I woke my brother like, shit, oh my God. Yeah, oh my God, look. And so my brother told me that the country mirrors the military sets the tone for how we are supposed to act as citizens. So to your point, it had already been done. The United States, you heard what she said. They fixed, they solved what they could in the scope. How in the hell is we here today if we already did it? Because I was trying to say that too. Do you guys know Dr. Willie Morrow already did this? And they're looking at me like, shut up, get out. I'm like, we need y'all. We need you guys to help push this man's history, because I know these attorneys don't know anything about Dr. Willie Morrow. So Cheryl,
well,
he did it.
Let's put it this way. Well, that's the reason why me and you do not know anything about hair discrimination. We grew up, we went to school, we had cornrows, we had Cicely Tyson. We didn't have no problems. There was no such thing, no hair discrimination in no 80s. You didn't even, you know what I mean? I don't know if they just did not, that was just not something. And that is the inheritance of that 70s wave. Everyone just got it. I mean, you got Oprah. She was on TV anchoring with an afro. So there is something about the natural hair care movement that is just, and it may be because it's so fragmented and so fractured from historical context. And when you guys read the Wikipedia of the description of protective hairstyles and you scroll all the way to the bottom, the references are horrible. They are not scientific. They are not historically researched. This is all cited just articles about people who have done research or just something on to write a book or to write an article or to write a blog. And once you read it, all of the vernacular, all of the inference, all of the reference is from natural hair care of Y2K. And it's so sad that now that as cosmetology has to interject and now interfere and now pull the Crown Act back and say, we're not going to win like this. We've already been doing this. The largest employer of the mightiest military force on earth, integrated blackness, integrated black stylized culture, afros, afro puffs, afro tech. They changed the uniform around black men and the wave of that inheritance. And so the fracture of Y2K, and they deliberately fractured themselves and wanted to go into such and be anti-cosmetology, anti-establishment. And it's funny to hear them wanting licenses now.
Okay, well, funny you should say that. I want you guys to, if anybody knows who Stetsasonic is, the opening line of their song says, brace yourself for the ultimate rare. And because Cheryl doesn't know I have this clip, and this is a big shout out to my niece, Christian. I call her Coos. She sent this to me tonight. So let me just bring this in so you guys can watch it, to Cheryl's point about the natural hair people. Now it's about to go down. Here we go.
It's about to go down.
In 96% of America, you do not need a license to practice braiding, weaving, locks, or natural hair care. Sounds crazy, right? When the cosmetology license was founded in the 1930s, they did not acknowledge our kinky, coily, curly hair. In hindsight, the racist act of them not acknowledging our hair has proven to serve us well. We have been free to build our craft, start our businesses, and learn from one another without the regulation of government. And that's the way it should be when it comes to talking about ancestral work that is unique to your culture. The truth is, Black hair is a complex language system, and the cultural practices of styling natural hair have been coveted, kept, and preserved by a dedicated lineage of guardians. It is because of these practitioners why we have undeniably disrupted the cosmetology industry. Big brands with deep pockets are now saying inclusion is what is needed in the cosmetology industry. I beg you to question, why now? I'm calling all braiders, lacticians, and natural hairstylists to join me on Zoom.
All right now.
Where on Zoom? I don't get her point, and she didn't get to finish.
That was it. It was just saying, come on Zoom. That's all she was saying.
Oh.
You heard that, but did you hear everything? You got everything, right?
I absolutely.
All right, come on. And you say?
Well, I think that because of Africanness and Blackness and culture and all of that is so wide. Now, one thing I will agree. Is that Mr. Morrow being a barber, right? One thing that she is acknowledging, she doesn't probably, or she's not aware of, is that barbering is older than cosmetology. And barbering did embrace the Afro and Afro-ness. Mr. Morrow first wrote the books. He wrote the books in 1962 when they were still calling it Negro hair, right? And so it was integrated into the higher sciences, and you could get a barber styler. And because the barbering license actually and certification and skill set is actually up here. Cosmetology is right here. And for some reason, it gets switched the other way. But it did. But she is correct. When cosmetology became up here and we kind of replaced it commercially, they did not embrace the Afro. No,
right. We got that part now. Keep going.
Right.
And her other points.
And so the key here is that in back of me here, I think that we supersede, and I'm probably because we don't have any infrastructure or any power. We negate science and we don't include chemistry, alchemy, or of any kind. And so I think because we don't know that, and because maybe we don't want to go to school to know it, and what she doesn't understand, there are Black scientists to be able to teach her. She doesn't necessarily have to go to.
Well, now that we got the lineage and the cultural vanguards, they're going to guard. You got gatekeepers.
Right. And so one thing that is clear, our cultural vanguards and guardians and high chemists and high alchemists and high scientists, we didn't make things in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. And we sure did.
And so I don't care how ancestral and wonderful it gets. We still, our base ancestral knowledge is always alchemy.
Yeah, I just think that rhetoric is to me, it's very dangerous because it's almost like she's saying, like anybody can do it if you're Black. And Cheryl, what is the dangers of that type of rhetoric? I mean, seriously. I mean, what are the dangers of? Because that has a lot of input. She's not saying it, but that's a dog whistle.
And I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. We can't culture our way to getting the civil liberties and the human rights that we need. We have to be smart. We got to use our noodle. We can't just lay on our laurels of just the Afro and all of the milky.
You mean being a descendant from Africa and being a descendant from a king and a queen and being from the Nile Valley of the Most High with the Ankh and Shaka Zulu. I mean, that ain't gonna.
I will debate all of them in that regard, because we have to be able to, and I am ancestrally trained and culturally trained and plantation trained. Scientifically, also trained as well.
I just think that type of rhetoric is the antithesis of an African. Like, because when you go to Africa, like they don't even talk like what she is inferring.
Well, she's an orphan. Black people in North America and the Western world are orphans. So we'll do anything to belong. So that's why you have most myths about Black people and the way we live, and the dumbest shit that like our podcast on Monday comes out of 1970 decade, because that is where the Willie Lynch letter dumb shit comes out of.
Oh, you mean the Willie Lynch letter is fake?
Yeah. That's where you get
you lie, a slow, painful death. The
right.
Willie Lynch, they believe that Willie Lynch letter.
Right. And so that's all where you get your real collegiate Black power movement. You start saying there's a whole bunch of myths and things, and then you start calling people Uncle Tom, and then it was never Uncle Tom, it was Sambo and Quimbo. You know what I mean? Uncle Tom was the good one. We just start saying all dumb shit. So my point is that dumb shit, as they would say, stupid games win stupid prizes, and the Crown Act is a stupid prize. And because let me just say this, in my generation, because I'm sure his mother is maybe a little younger than me and you, right? It breaks my heart.
Yeah,
that this boy is a Gen Zer, and Mr. Morrow would be his grandfather. And Mr. Morrow would look at him and say, I fucking did that. Why didn't you guys carry and what were you looking at the Gen X like me and you? We didn't tell him? But at the natural hair care movement, that 25 years ago is when the Y2K started this craziness.
I mean, the natural hair. I'm going there now. Now we can go ahead on and go there. But before I do that, let me just share with you what Miss Eileen has to say about your dad. Dr. Willie Morrow was too much for our own people. This man was a walking genius who walked the walk of Black hair knowledge. He should have had unlimited life to continue. I know that's right. To educate our own people, we must understand our hair before we try to fight against anyone. I repeat. Let me grab that mic, baby.
Say that again.
We must understand our own hair before we try to fight against anyone. Hence, what's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Ohio's textured hair, I forgot the apostrophe, Ohio Textured Hair Science Bill 414. We lost a great leader and teacher of Black hair knowledge. We are blessed to have his daughter continue his journey. You better post that, baby. Let me give her a
thank you, Miss Eileen. I appreciate that.
Hold on, Eileen. I got something for you in the chat because my brother gonna be like, "Where's that? Where's that? Where's that?" Here it is, right here. Here you go, Eileen. Because I just don't think that people really understand the very important role of science. I mean, she was really big on we tanked the cosmetology industry. I want to get to that part right quick. Hold up, here you go.
Next week, Monday, take a look at your screen, screenshot the flyer coming.
I want to see where she is. Miss that she is the dread.
The cosmetology curriculum is racist. And on this Black History Month, I'm going to tell you why that matters. In 96% of America, you do not need a license to practice braiding, weaving, locks, or natural hair care. Sounds crazy, right? When the cosmetology license was founded in the 1930s, they did not acknowledge our kinky, coily, curly hair. In hindsight, the racist act of them not acknowledging our hair has proven to serve us well. We have been free to build our craft, start our businesses, and learn from one another without the regulation of government. And that's the way it should be when it comes to talking about ancestral work that is unique to your culture. The truth is, Black hair is a complex language system, and the cultural practices of styling natural hair have been coveted, kept, and preserved by a dedicated lineage of guardians. It is because of these practitioners why we have undeniably disrupted the cosmetology industry.
Woo! Woo! That's some powerful. That's some powerful. You see all them likes she got? We got.
Yep. Yep. It sounds good.
It sound real. That's some foxy. I mean, I'm gonna go back again. I mean, she
was doing it, wasn't she?
She was doing it. She said, and we tanked the cosmetology industry, and you took all the money over into Walmart.
Well, and let me just say this, and it's so unfortunate with all of that, and they're all well intentioned. The problem is that with all of that Africanness, naturalness, and organicness,
he was like this, and it's
right. They gave it away.
Yeah, and furthermore, where are they for this young man? Where are they? I mean, sure. This is why we are doing the live and hope.
Well, Miss Shirley,
maybe
are you ready to go to? Is she ready to go to Columbus?
Yeah.
Is Miss Shirley ready to go to Miss Columbus?
You know she ready. She the one that got us down there in the first place. Shan said, "Yep." Shan gonna speak up. Shan's gonna be by proxy for her. She might be out of the chat. He's like, "Yep, she's ready. She is ready." It's not. I mean, I think her conversation is very foxy. Unfortunately, when you talk about a whole 90%. 96% of people who do braids, locks, twists, weaves, natural hairstyle doesn't have government oversight, as if that's the onlyest thing that the cosmetology and education is all about. That's a really sad thing. I mean,
you have locticians
that we don't even know what the heck that is.
Wait.
Sorry.
We got locticians complaining about the locticians, complaining about the brain.
And I mean, everybody's complaining about. You got hairstylists complaining about hairstylists. You know what I'm saying? And this is why let me put this right in here because this is going to bother me. But this is why we have this bill that we are doing our darndest to support Elliot Forehand.
Right.
So that we can make sure that we could do, what we need to do here. So this is Ohio's Textured Hair Science Bill 414. It's not, it has not been presented to any legislative bodies as of yet. These things do take time, but I am putting it out there. My brother said, please share this live. This is very, very, very important because you hear the I don't want to call her stuff rhetoric because that just sounds like such a hater, but let's just say her position, because she had the young lady. She has some valid points, but she's pseudo, she's syrupy.
I think she believes everything. No, she believes everything.
No, she don't believe. She know what she's saying, and it's all emotional stuff. I mean, you're gonna promote 90% of people being able to work without government oversight, as if that's like the creme de la creme. And then y'all send all the people back to the hair salons.
Well, here's the problem.
I mean,
if you slip through the crack of a regulation, right?
Right.
You're gonna miss me, right? And then you would have missed a Mr. Morrow, you would have missed a Mr. Spritz. You would have missed you. And we have, and one of the things that we're gonna be doing in October, we're gonna release the new trailer for the Afro Science, summit in October, and that's why we're traveling this weekend to all the way to Georgia. We've got to get in and make sure, because we're gonna run into some miss things there too. We're gonna hopefully we can talk it out. Maybe we can get on the same page.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for her and to see what she's talking about. I think the natural hair people are just full of shit, and I'm sick of them. I'm tired of it's just the whole using the whole black thing, because in reality, for real, y'all, people don't even like that. People want to be serviced as human beings. They're just, my brother said easy now. I'm sorry. I just can't take it, because to me, all of this is their fault, from co-washing. The minute they push the co-washing, the not combing your hair, the 4C bull fragger paggernackle, the texturism. I mean, the list goes on and on. And now you got this kid. These people have been they're like the Donald Trumps of Africanity, to me. Because now you have this kid. They were so foxy. They got attorneys to write and introduce a half-cracked law
Bullshit.
because they believed that all of them natural hair people was going to galvanize. None of them show up in court. None of them. All the natural hair community should have ascended on Texas, and they should have rocked that funky joint. That courthouse should have been packed. That street should have been shut down if they was real serious about that boy's hair. Because I'm going to tell you right now, in the state of Ohio, when they kept trying to push this thing called independent contractor's license, it was wreaking havoc up and down the streets of Ohio with this ignorant thing called independent contractor's license, knowing that is not what the law said. The law said that licensed cosmetologists needed to have what? Continuing education. You cannot tell a person who can manage and not manage their business. That's when I met former Senator Shirley Smith. And I was real. Y'all know I was just ghetto. And she was like, oh, girl, sit your ghetto down. That is not what you do. Now, this is a real live senator, but we talk about we don't like politicians. We better cut this bull fragger paggernackle out. Because what y'all muffler suckers don't understand, if it wasn't for that politician to pull me aside and say, you got a good point, but you ain't going to get anywhere in helping your people in your industry with that bad language. Like my brother said, stop it. Number one. Number two, you don't have an agenda. Number three, ain't nobody talking but you. The only person I will burn off at their mouth is your black because that senator don't play, by the way, okay? So she's a senator, but she is from the people. So she knew who she was talking to, and she rolled up her sleeves, and I said, well, you're the senator, and she said, you're the constituent, and you have a responsibility. And sitting up here and causing all types of ruckus, running off at your mouth, and you're not helping your people. Until you do that part, back up, homegirl. And you know what I did? I took her up on her offer, and guess what we did? We changed the law. And what we do? We did exactly what we're asking the natural hair community to do for Mr. Daryl George. Y'all should have went to Texas and helped that young man out. Y'all left him hanging. He locked his hair. He did everything that y'all said was going to make him blackity black, all that bull fragger paggernackle. He's so black, he can't go to school. What's them locks going to do for him? What? And y'all ain't there. Y'all can't write. Y'all can't speak. Y'all can't do nothing. At least I did do what the great senator of Ohio asked me to do. Stop causing trouble and do something about it. Now, I ain't want to do it. I ain't going to tell no lie. I want to smack her upside her head. But what you going to say to a person who's telling you that? Y'all just sit here and start fires. And then when stuff start burning, y'all in the house on YouTube and shit. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And we need to find more politicians like that senator, former Senator Shirley Smith in Ohio. More senators need to get in front of their constituents and make them do the right thing and stop getting on these social media platforms acting like they ain't got no sense. The judge in Texas made a ruling that said that boy cannot go to that school. He cannot go to school.
And will not.
Will not go to school. What?
Suspension is legal and lawful because you guys did not put in the bill. I am going to rule on the school's behalf and use the law against you because you did not specify or put what you wanted me as a judge to consider when I am litigating and giving the sentence in my ruling.
That's right. And that is what the former Ohio Senator Shirley Smith said to me. You have to do the work, LaDosha, and you have to be succinct. It has to be delineated. You have to get the people behind you. You have to calm down. You have to not use profanity. You're going to have to, do all I couldn't do it on YouTube. I had to go. And listen, nobody even knew who I was, by the way. I ain't nobody. I had to go get Dr. Spritz, who had all the credibility. We went door to door. I had to do the work. And I didn't want to, but I had to. That's what Mr. Abdullah said. We have to get together. So in essence, she said the same thing to me that judge has said to those attorneys who wrote the Crown Act. And I'm telling y'all, it can be done.
And wait a minute. One of the writers of the Texas Crown Act edition, the Texas edition, testified. And the judge said, doesn't matter. You missed it. And I'm going to rule on this law just by the letter. And since you did not specify.
Lazy.
That is
lazy.
My ruling. And since length is not protected or even talked about, not in it, you didn't even allude to it. And you talking about, well, it was supposed to be inferred.
Inferred? Come on.
Well, the attorney said it. Well, we just thought it was just inferred. No, all locks don't start no 8 inches long. And if it do, they fake. It is mutable. Okay, that part.
That part.
It's they most 9 well shit back in the day when they were supposed to be starting shit a half an inch long, and you're supposed to grow them and
let them be
and marry to them and and bond with them, and that's your locks. You don't start with no 8 inches long. So the boy obviously had shorter hair, but my point is you didn't write the Crown Act based on dress code and work, labor and the workplace.
Period.
You did not do it based on DEI and DENI. You didn't. The Crown Act is written on culture.
Shame.
Thing else on culture. I don't get. We don't. Oh, wait a minute. It's actually written as a cosmetology book. Like you gonna teach them what a protected hairstyle is and this and that.
Not interested. It's because it's a hairstyle. I'm like, that's just like said the mohawk. You're not going to court in the mohawk. I mean, yes, the attorneys are not going to go in there. It's just not going to happen, guys. They have a right. She just said the Supreme Court already ruled.
Freaking believable. So we are going to be on the campaign trail, and we are going to revise that bill.
And if you know any of those attorneys, people who are writing, I'm going to reach back out to Juanita Brent. I believe the other person's name was, the representative's name was Calendar. I think that was his name, but don't quote me, but I'll get it together. And, like Cheryl said, we just going to have to, in Ohio, I mean, every state will have to do it. But I was just using the example of former Senator Shirley Smith and how she pushed me to do the right thing. It is not a good thing to sit on these platforms and misinform people with crazy lexicon called natural hair, protective styles. It's just 4C hair. We had no business doing this. None. Those lock hairstyles it's just a trend, y'all. It's just because half of the people that was wearing those locks, they didn't cut that stuff off their hair. And guess what they back to? Relaxers.
And even if they want
to press a curl. I mean, they're styles.
Right, they're style.
We're styles. That's all they are. They're just hairstyles. All of the weave hairstyles.
I don't even think they know that the Crown Act actually is only written for women. Doesn't even cover men. Men do not choose to wear locks because they protecting it from the wind, the elements. It's weak.
I'm exercising. I'm hot flashing.
And I need a style that need to last. And
I got the kids, so I can nurse the kids.
Are not doing that. They are doing it for their Africanness, how it feels, their confidence, their sense of self, their sense of value, their rootedness.
Style.
And style.
It's style. Men cut them off just like women.
One day, and then they rocking some waves. They did whatever,
and then they put them back in. My sister, she cut them off, put them back in. My sister had me comb all her locks out, relax her hair, and guess what? 3 months later, she said, "Oh, cut it back off, and I'll lock it again." She said, "Oh, cut it back off. I'll just wear my own hair." It's his hairstyle. And that's why I said the young lady who's up there like, yeah, we set the cosmetology industry on fire. We put them, we checked them, checkmate. No, boo-boo kitty. The cosmetology industry, that ain't no checkmate. What other things are you guys doing with that natural hair movement? Think of all of the stuff that Dr. Willie Morrow was able to do under the guise of a licensed barber. And I'm not trying to go tit for tat because that's so foolish. You know how they say black people, we shouldn't be fighting each other. We shouldn't. We just want you guys to see.
Right. Can y'all find a 1997? Anybody who was born and was alive in 1970s, in the early 80s? Everybody was wearing their natural hair. They was wearing their natural hair and pressing curls. They was wearing their natural hairs in the flat top. In 8, like, where does natural hair care people talking about with this new freedom? Like, we couldn't wear our hair.
We wore afros to work. My mama was and even wait a minute. And this is what happened. I mean, I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm gonna go ahead on and tell it. I'm gonna be like Coach Cheese. I'm telling it all. When I was down in Columbus, right? During that Crown Act weekend, and I'm on the panel. I think they recorded it, and I'm giving this other spin right there. I'm doing my part as Shirley. I see you in the chat, rousing, getting everything ready. Look at her, So I'm doing my part. Let me just show y'all what she says. Where do I see you? Anyhow, and I'm
Let's do it, Miss Shirley. I'm ready. God damn it. Let's go.
I'm trying to tell them exactly the conversation we're having here, but in a very professional way. And the lady stands up, like Cheryl just said, we wore this in the 70s. And she just stood up and was like, basically, she didn't say this. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. But for your information, I worked in a bank and we had to straighten our hair out. I was like, I wanted to say to her, you allow your breath stank of panther piss. Black women told other black women to straighten their hair. Ain't no bank told you that you had to go in and straighten your hair. You a lie. Because my mother is about as old as you, and she wore her afro. She worked in a secretary pool. You're lying.
No, well, white folks wore their afros. They wore their perms. They was getting perms like 5 minutes shit, 100 miles going north. They was wearing afros. They was, wait a minute. The afro made the white folks come out the closet and say, shit, I ain't get going to the salon no more. I'm just gonna let it, they just let it just string. They was called hippies.
Keep talking. They don't want none of this.
So at the end of the day, I don't know what they were talking about. And no, there was some requirements and they did push, you're going to put your hair in the butt. Yeah, but that was after the trend.
Say it again. After the what?
After the afro trend. Then the trend went back to the relaxer. Then we went to the asymmetrical cuts. And then we went to the tails. And then we had the shag. We had its style. But one of the things, we got to get that language in that Crown Act right.
That language got to be right. And we knew the length was coming. We knew it. I was just like, I was concerned about the men too. And I didn't even know Cheryl at this point. The whole thing that we want you guys to understand, and we thank you guys so because you guys are rocking it out with us again. You're rocking it out with us again. We just want you guys to understand it's really not enough to do the things that the natural hair movement people did. It has not served any person well beyond the trend. Because Absolutely. Here we are, like I said, half of those people, they're not even on YouTube anymore. They done went over to TikTok and what's that other one? Twitch or Snitch or something like that. They're all over the place. They're on other platforms with more.
There's still a natural sphere.
It's dwindled down, but now they are over into the shaman sphere. Like she said, we are the cultural, guardians and the gatekeepers. And now they're over into the world of, spirituality with some sage. Y'all know,
divine.
The divine, the unk with the whole, it's the phallic symbol and the ovaries and all this. That's not in the glyphs. Children told y'all that over and over. There is nothing written in the glyphs that says
I know.
Yeah. So that's where they are now.
I know where they are.
Where are they?
They over there with that pseudo brother. Quasi Kooky. What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, you told me about him. The one with he got locks. That little dark skinned dude I pulled to the side in San Diego.
Yaki. You're right. There was Yaki over on 9 Ether Hair.
And
that's where they're at.
Right. And remember I texted you, I said, oh shit, look who's here. And he's calling, a friend of mine. Oh, that's my spiritual sister. No, nigga.
Stop you. They're gonna kick us off YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. I told her not to say that word.
But
they gonna flag this one.
I told his ass, man, your shit is stupid. And when I get your ass, I'm gonna get you. Well, what you talking about, sis? What you talking about? Explain to me. Break it down. I know. I ain't breaking shit down to you, brother. You know everything, right? Telling everybody, What,
Yeah.
who taught you?
I told you guys what's the problem? The natural hair movement, them muffler suckers was so raw. They had college professors that quit their jobs trying to push this natural hair thing. They try to become speakers. They have all kinds of, symposiums and panel discussions and, trichology and all that stuff was our stuff. You know what I'm saying? The natural hair people is so raw. You gotta say how raw are. Let me try it again. Wait a minute, let me say it again. Hold on, let me say it. Let me get my mic right. Hold on, wait a minute. Here we go, y'all. The natural hair people are so raw.
How raw are they?
They got Michelle Obama in locks.
She's got locks?
Y'all see that hairline?
Oh man.
Why they do her like that?
Where's your come on now, dog?
Come on now, dog.
Now come on, man.
I'm gonna put this on I'm gonna say it right now. Michelle Obama is not gonna wear them locks to her grave. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that right there. It's a hairstyle. I know y'all don't want to believe it. It's a hairstyle that I had my hair in one style for about 10 years, and then one day I said, just shave this off. And y'all know what's coming next, right? Keep on, cut off all that damn hair. It's a hairstyle. So how many hairstyles you done had?
Oh, girl, please come on now. You switch it up. You just switch it up.
It's just hairstyles. But that natural hair community, they had Michelle Obama say the world wasn't ready. If I would have came in there with my natural hair, I'm like,
oh yeah, that Nigerian author. I can see her name. I can see her.
Chi. You talking about Chi, Amici, Zamanda? I know you talking about.
That was the dumbest statement.
I love Chi. Chi be trying to get it, but Chi a little like, come on, Chi. Amici. What's her name? Chimanda. I can never get her name right. Y'all help us out. Y'all know who we talking about.
She know who she is.
Yeah.
And all jokes set aside, it's time. This is ridiculous. And yeah, I can make fun of it all day, but it is so embarrassing that Black folks can't even talk about being Black. We don't even know how to talk about being Black. We don't know what it is to talk about the essence and the omnipresence of our soul and our culture. I mean, we just don't know how to talk about our presence in any medium. We get so confused because we are emotionally hurt. And we can't even admit that hurt feelings just allows us to react and respond to everything in a very emotional, irrational way, to the point where we can't work and move on our best behalf and our best interests. We can't get there. We want, and natural hair care, they created a hair care company to tell white people to celebrate Black founders and gave up their equity.
Now, how Black is that? You're so Black, you're so African, you're so natural. You're telling people that they got high porosity, low porosity. This stuff come out of cosmetology, but y'all natural. Y'all so natural. Y'all telling people that they split ends and stuff, damage hair. Y'all so natural. You're just over the top and you're just out of line and completely out of order. I don't know what I could do to help that young man out. I don't know, but we're gonna do our part here.
Hopefully, I have a conversation because one of the attorneys that I've been in contact with, I think is going to be handling the appeal, and so hopefully we can kick ass in the appeal.
Yeah. So you guys, whatever those attorneys need from us to help them out, we need to do it. We don't know what that is, but whatever they ask of America to help this young man out, we need to go ahead on. We need to do it. This is the author that Cheryl and I was talking about because we don't want to be accused of y'all hating. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And so she's the one that, made those interesting comments, that were just.
And of course, she's a very wonderful, intelligent author, intelligent woman. But that was quite ignorant.
Yeah. The whole hair thing. And that's not to say
it doesn't make a difference what socioeconomic background we come from. That hair conversation, we plumbed them.
Right. And when you go to Africa, I'm telling you right now, they don't share our sentiments. I know, I was there. At least in the Gambia. They was like, what is wrong with you people in America with this hair thing? You guys need to stop it. They like, stop it, just stop it. We need to get it together. At the end of the day, these are hairstyles. The Texas judge ruled that the school did not violate the Crown Act. We know that there's another
zero.
Yeah. So we did talk about this.
10,000 O's.
Yeah. Yeah, we said it's just not going to work, guys. We're not trying to be haters or anything like that. But here's our angle. If you're watching this posted live, please give us your 2 cents in the chat. That's where we're at. We're going to do our part here in Ohio. Again, now this, what I'm about to show you, is from Canva. Okay, so this is not from an actual newspaper. We're just trying to do a little good old-fashioned sensationalism here, right, Cheryl?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So this is our breaking news from the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel. Okay. And that is Ohio State Representative introduces is the operative word here. This bill is not passed. It is in the works. As a matter of fact, he's got some challenges in getting that bill in front of the people, but we're going to do our part to help him out. And like we said, this is one step. It's not signed, sealed, and delivered. We're just showing you per what the judge said to the people who wrote the Crown Act. You guys can do better. And so when it comes to cosmetology and barbering, we know that we can do better too. Our industry is not without its issues, its challenges. We got a lot of stuff. And so, like I said, this bill here is one step of many. And we know that you guys have some ideals of your own in your own states that you would like to see happen when it comes to hair. So we hope that we serve as a source of inspiration, and we plead with you to please be supportive of Mr. Daryl. Greg, let me make sure I got his name. I want to say the wrong name. Daryl George. Please, let's be supportive of Daryl George, his family, his team of attorneys, and do what we need to do. And this is Charles and I take on the situation. And I guess that's it. We will be back on Sunday and Monday because we're going to be going live, by the way, from where? There it is. I was going to be in Atlanta. It would have been nice if the Bronner brothers could have also used this to help get the cosmetologists down there, but they didn't. But anywho, we're going to be down there. We probably going to talk about that. Why y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? Anywho, that's another conversation. If you need some help, support, you need a lot more understanding about, hair in general, don't forget you can become a member of the BCPA. That's the Beauty Care Professionals of America. It's for licensed professionals and the public as well, and they are doing their part. Again, one step of many. So you got a step here from the BCPA. You also have the Bronner brothers. So nobody's going to get it all right, and then you also have, let's not forget us, right, Cheryl? Right. We got something. Where's our? Did I get? Oh, here we are. There it is. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, don't forget we have the Afro Hair Summit in 2024 is happening. It's going to be going down back here in the good old state of Ohio. So everybody has something to bring to the table. Any closing thoughts? So we thank y'all. You guys rocked it out.
Yeah,
And
y'all
again,
rocked it out.
don't forget to hit that thumbs up and share as usual. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Any closing thoughts? Thanks, Monica. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks, Monica. I'm
She,
just
it's Monica's fault. She the one that told us nah.
yeah. She the one gave us the
She the one that
bad.
gave us the bad news. I was like, no, Monica.
Yeah. You know, because hey, I was keeping my fingers crossed.
I was.
But this is an opportunity for us to be real black. So we're gonna have to dig deep. We're going to dig deeper past Mr. Morrow and pull us up. And let's just start making some sense making. And maybe we need each other. And
we do.
think tanking. We need to get think tanks before we do things because we're really experiencing things in the 21st century and it's going in 2024 that actually should have been dealt with when Mr. Morrow did it in 1970.
Yeah. And big ups to Dr. Naeem Akbar, who was definitely one of those pioneers, him and Dr. Amos Wilson, John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, some local people here in Cleveland, Julia Simmons, Rasul. We've had some great people here in Cleveland. UMADOP, the Urban Minority and Drug Outreach Program. We've had some wonderful programs here in Cleveland that hosted think tanks. And the purpose of a think tank is to help us go out in the community to give us directions. So we can know what we need to do to help make our communities a better place on an intimate level. We don't live in the community where Mr. Daryl lives in Texas, but we are a part of his bigger family, and we do support him. But we just want to, like I said, serve as a source of inspiration. No, nothing is too small. To some people, a textured hair science bill, that is like a stupid, bill. Well, to a cosmetologist, it means a lot, So do your part and read up. Try to, get as much information you can on Dr. Willie Morrow. Shameless plug. All right, guys, we will be back live and direct from Atlanta every chance we get. But in the meantime, we might not make it Monday at 6, right? We'll see what we can do. We may be going live from our phones, but nonetheless, stick around for sure. We'll be back next Thursday, okay? Thank you guys so much. You know what we say? We're signing out, right? Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. We can do this. We can do this.
We're going to do it.
We got it. Good night, my good people. Good night.